listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and... Hold on a minute, hold on. Alan Cochrane is back, ladies and gentlemen, from a tremendously successful run in Edinburgh. Wonder what that feels like. Anyway, you can text our show on 81215. What you doing? Sorry, someone was just messing with my buttons.
Wasn't me, can I just say? Can I just say it wasn't me?
Or me.
Do you want you doing that in your corner in your periphery? Anyway, you can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. My desk, my rules.
Speaking of the peripheral vision, has anybody else ever had an eyebrow hair sort of...
I had one this morning.
It's really annoying, isn't it? It's really annoying.
Sorry, I'm not using this morning as a vague catch-all term. I mean this morning.
That you mean today.
Excuse me.
I thought I'd woken up in a Wild West prison.
Excuse me, can you explain what you mean?
It had like bars going down.
Oh, right.
An eyebrow hair, descending into the eye socket?
Into the viewpoint.
Going across the viewpoint, so yeah. So
mine never get out of control.
No, but your eyebrows are absolutely meticulous. Whereas mine, you get to an age.
You don't have Dennis Healy eyebrows.
No, but I have to keep them under close control.
Oh, okay.
When I'm at the Turkish barbers, they always have a good go at the eyebrows.
Yes, they're great, I hear, for that sort of forensic work.
Yeah, fire in the ears.
Yes, singe.
It's nice to have Cockerel back.
It's nice to be back.
Indeed.
I've looked at the emails.
Have you done the trawl?
I've done my trawl.
Yesterday when I was young, so many songs. Sorry. Anything trawlable?
Yeah, I've learned something.
Let's start with education. Let's face it, there's precious little of it about
we've
in
had
popular
an email.
entertainment. What happened to Lord Reith's view of educate, entertain and inform?
I don't think that was on commercial radio, but we'll go with it.
No, but we're carrying it on. The BBC have abandoned it.
Morning indeed. Morning all, or evening if this is Alan doing his Friday night trawl. Hugely deserved praise withheld. So
can I hold you there? Is the theory that you come in at night and do
I think people
trawl?
Do think that.
I think
I love that.
Yeah, he stays up all night.
Alan going in maybe in spectacles, and stuff, and looking a bit cash. He just sits in a dark, under a single...
angle poise.
Angle
poise lamps. I've got one at home. Love them.
I see him with a bit of a journalist's deadline visor on his head.
Oh, yeah.
And the shirt sleeves rolled up, okay.
That sounds good as well.
You know what I'd love? An angle poise shower.
Yeah?
Do they exist?
No.
They will, Oscar, they will. Yeah. Anyway, Alan,
you could get to work designing it. You come up with a lot of good ideas on this show.
I'm an ideas man, but I don't have a shed.
We can work on that.
Okay.
I had an idiotic eureka moment this week. We all know the idiom, when life gives you lemons, which we do, I think.
I have never heard that before in my life.
When life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
You're joking.
No, honestly.
Are you absolutely joking?
I swear to you, I've never heard that. I've never seen Paris Gump. Paris Gump? What's he called?
That's his sister.
What's he called?
Paris Gump sounds like a bit of an adult version you might have seen.
Yeah.
This is Forrest Gump.
Paris Gump. It's like you know that Disneyland was an American thing, and then they tried it in Europe.
Frank, you know what I like?
Who'd star in Paris Gump?
I also like
Marion Cotillard.
Oh yeah. She'd been.
I like the current vogue for I've never seen, I've never done ...
Well, we did Michael Owen's Tea and Coffee, didn't we? Yeah.
Last week. I've never seen Paris Gump. I mean, I'd watch that show.
No, Paris, yes. Anyway, I have never heard the phrase, if they give you lemons, make lemonade.
If life gives you lemons...
Clearly I haven't heard it, I don't know it. Wait. What is it? If life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Yeah. Well, this person then continues. Let's just take that as the thing that does happen.
Okay.
This person then continues. It only just occurred to me that lemons were chosen for this phrase for their bitterness, i.e. when life throws sour, difficult stuff at you. I just thought it was a case of when life gives you something, make the most of it.
Okay. Well, can I say, even though I've never heard it before, I did get that instantly.
Did you?
The bitterness element.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, so if life gives you a difficult thing, make the best of it.
Yeah, I didn't at all.
Sweeten it.
Yeah.
So I've learned the same as this person.
Okay.
Can I just say-
Life has given me kumquats. What should I do with them?
Just eat them whole, though. Don't you take
just
them to the cinema?
don't sit on any cold surfaces. That's my advice.
Also, don't start getting all confident throwing that phrase around. I just didn't know it.
Well, once I hear a new phrase, I cannot leave it alone.
Very quick
Well, what about
adopter
once
of
you
it.
hear this? You've just had a message from official Jim Davidson.
No.
Oh, yeah.
He says, "Hello, Frank." Hi, Jim. There you go. Official, yes.
this happening?
Jim's account, yeah. He's saying good morning to you. It's nice.
Yeah.
Say good morning back, Frank.
Say
Your com-
good morning back.
Is
You're
your com-
bossing him around.
Who's your comedy friend?
Morning, Jim. Morning, everyone. That's nice, though. Last time I saw Jim Davidson, we were in the makeup room, I think, this morning. Me and him were in adjoining chairs, talking comedy. And Dara O'Brien came in, and it really looked like he'd caught me having an affair. He looked absolutely horrified. I said, have you met Jim? And he's going, oh, well, yeah. And he went. And I saw him recently, and he said, no, I was just a bit thrown by it. I didn't. It's great. Oh, man. Comedy. Our brothers in comedy, ladies and gentlemen.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
124 has replied to your request for an angle poise shower. Is that what you came up with a minute ago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I think this might constitute as work bants. They've said only if you have a shower big enough for an angle poise shower head, Frank. So you need an angle poise shower head for it, and then it says Mick the plumber. So I'm guessing
I think I have. I think certainly one of them must be that big.
excellent.
Old Van Hoogstraten, property owner again.
Well, you know, if life gives you strawberries.
Yeah. Buy a load of property. That's a modern spin
Use
on
a
it.
straw to suck out the stalks.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Frank, we've had a whatever happened to, which I'd like to share with you. This is from Bob. Hello. Whatever happened to magic eye pictures? As soon as I learnt how to do them, they disappeared.
That's what happened
to Paris
me.
Gump. Yeah.
Yeah, I learnt to do them late. I was a late adopter of the magic eye pictures, and then they sort of went out of fashion. No sooner had I got them.
I
Yeah.
never got them. Never saw through one.
The same thing happened to me with. Do you remember those things? They were called something like clackers. There were two balls on strings,
Oh yeah,
and you used to have to wave your hand, and they went.
yeah.
I'd learnt them right on the curve of them going out of fashion,
Oh, that's a shame.
just as they went away.
Oh.
But yes,
Okay.
they're very satisfying. I've used them in other contexts, though.
What other
skill-
context? What,
well,
the bedroom?
Yes, I do use it in the
Here we
bedroom.
go.
What the?
Here we go.
Sorry,
Keep it
Al, it's
this
gone a bit
time.
blue since you've been on.
No, this is very clean. I find that if I can't get to sleep, I do with my brain basically what I used to do with my eyes with those magic eye pictures.
Magic. Okay.
And I just let my brain... You know, the way to see the picture in a magic eye is to stop focusing, to just be.
Oh yeah.
And if you can work out how to do that with your brain, just get back to sleep again. Little tip,
Yeah.
little life hack here from the show.
Better than counting sheep.
Yeah, I don't think counting sheep works personally. I don't like counting in any. CSE grade 4. Do you think maths is going to help me sleep? It's all it's ever done is get me awake. Counting my showers.
Yeah. Oh, no, but this is Aladdin.
What about I was woken up? I was woken up the other morning. I was fast asleep,
Yeah.
and Boz came in. My Boz, I have a 6-year-old son. I know. And he came into the room. I didn't hear a thing. I was asleep. And the way he woke me up was just by grabbing my ankle. It was really terrifying.
Oh, I love
You know that nightmare about stepping out of bed in the night and there's a hand comes from under the bed and grabs your ankle.
yeah.
It was like
Stephen
that.
King novel or something.
Yeah, it was like I was going to be dragged to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Okay.
Just as far as the fridge. So that was it. Okay.
Okay.
But
You're
if,
wondering how you're going to get out of this now?
I'm just thinking if life gives you ready brick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
make ready brick.
Enjoy it.
That doesn't work, does it?
doesn't.
Okay.
It's okay.
I can't think of a way out of
I've
this.
had
I
worse.
can't leave it like this. I feel disgusted with myself. Oh, man.
650 has texted, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade and ensure you submit the sugar tax payment to HMRC.
See, that's good. That's
Bit of small print there on
yeah,
Absolute
exactly.
Radio.
Is that better than Ready Break?
I like advice that comes with parentheses. Here you go, that'll do.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
What have you been up to?
I went to Pope's Grotto this week.
What's that?
Pope's Grotto. You know, do you know Alexander Pope, the poet? You've heard of him?
Yeah.
He was 18th century.
I mean, the other Pope's been more in the news in the last week
Yeah.
or two.
I
Yeah.
thought that was like meeting Santa. I thought you sat
Yeah.
on his knee.
Yeah.
If only. Although he was quite small and he had growth problems, so you probably couldn't sit on his knee.
Oh, dear.
Anyway,
That's a shame.
yeah, he was. You'd know his stuff.
Oh, I know Alexander Pope.
Yeah, you'd know, like, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. That's one of his.
That's well known, yeah.
Upsprings Eternal.
He's had some
Heard of
greats.
Yeah.
that.
And of course his big one, the eternal sunshine of the spotless
Yeah.
mind.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's his sort of definitely maybe.
Well, I mean,
Isn't
to
it, in the
actually come
canon?
up with a film title, that's quite unique in the 18th century.
And Happy Birthday to You, he did that. You don't
Yeah.
know that.
You
That's-
say-
that was,
He did that with the
He did it
film
under it.
title, Superman 3.
Yeah.
It's one of his.
I think he did Paris Gump, but I don't know.
Paris Gump. I did. I think that's mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're having that.
That'll probably be bought by a very low-brow fashion magazine. Actually, I watched Superman 3 this week with my child.
Oh.
Watching your 6-year-old really, really laugh at Richard Pryor is quite an
that's good.
experience, because
Excellent.
you wouldn't have thought that was possible, because obviously his stand-up is it's a bit rude.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
things-
Adult content.
Took a bit of a strange turn
Oh, man,
for
he
him as
loved
well.
him in Superman 3.
Great.
Loved him.
Funny bones. Travel.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, yeah,
what
Pope's
happened in
Grotto.
the grotto.
So I suppose we've all, haven't we, when when you realise you're making a few bob, we've all fantasised about our own grotto. No?
Okay. No,
Okay.
never.
Okay, well, it's, you know what it is? It's a sort of a bespoke cave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like
What
Santa's
kind of
grotto?
man-
I feel we've
Cave.
already lost about 20% of our listeners right there.
Well,
But,
when you've made a few bob.
Yeah.
So what happens in the grotto?
Well, what happened was that when Pope started to make a few bob as a poet, he bought a place in Twickenham, because anyway, and so there was a road that separated, a public road that went between his house and his garden.
Right.
That's how you get it cheap.
All right, yeah.
So he decided, well, I'll build a tunnel from the house to the garden, then I won't have any problems with the road. And once he went underground, he thought, I wouldn't mind a little bespoke cave down there. So he got, he got some sparkly minerals, and there's two pieces.
Some Perrier water. Lovely.
There's two pieces of
For guests coming in.
the Giant's Causeway.
Really?
Mate of his brought a couple of bits. I mean, they didn't know then that that
Okay.
was the wrong thing to do.
No.
But, Elgin marbles, it's the same principle.
Similar.
Yeah, so they're still in there. You can still go and see. If you say to someone, let's go and see the Giant's Causeway, they think, oh, lovely, Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and then you
Take them to Twickenham.
Much
Exactly.
warmer. So in the grotto, I've got this hopelessly wrong
Okay.
because I assumed it to have sort of.
In the Grotto, isn't that Elvis Presley song?
Yeah.
What if he'd done a song about Alex? In the Grotto, doon diddle doon do. I love a sparking mineral. Hey, is that the Giant's Causeway in the Grotto? Samuel Johnson, of course, said of the Giant's Causeway, another 18th century. It's gone very 18th century.
Yeah.
He said it was worth seeing, but not worth going to see.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
Cruel.
lovely.
That's good.
I'm just saying, I imagined it when you said grotto. I think I saw fairy lights and maybe some scented candles and sort of succulent plants. I thought, what, is there nothing there? Is there no cushions or anything? They haven't made it nice.
No, but I mean, he's not still there.
No, I know, but I thought someone would have preserved it.
What
or
it is,
something.
it has been. It
Well, like
has
some
been.
throws and
It has
Yeah,
been.
some
soft
throws,
furnishings.
yeah.
Scatter cushions.
I don't know if there was ever soft furnishings. There's a sort of drawing of him writing down there. He does. It's not. He's not on cushions. He's on like
Okay.
quite a sturdy.
Oh.
Different times.
Yeah.
But it was just. I was in Pope's Grotto, for goodness' sake.
Yeah. No, I'm not having a go at it. I'm excited by it.
Okay.
I was genuinely excited by it. There's like
Right.
minerals. Minerals.
Is that all there was?
No, there was the odd statue, but the minerals was the there was mirrors.
Oh, really?
There was some of Pope's original mirrors was in there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
What were they like, the mirrors, then?
a bit not so
bit
good.
burnished
Right.
now.
Yeah, see what he used to do, he'd hang a lamp up and he had the mirrors fitted.
Angle
It gave
poise?
more light. I don't think. When was the
No.
No, wasn't the angle poise invented by the same bloke who invented the the parking meter?
Oh.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, he gave with one hand, he took with the other, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Why didn't they have an angle poise parking meter? Oh, you're pointless. Absolutely pointless. Sorry.
That's probably why.
You need
Sorry,
to work
everyone.
on that. Go into the grotto and workshop that.
Well, yeah, I've got more grotto.
Have you?
Great.
I think this is getting a bit like MTV Cribs. If there'd been an 18th
Alexander
century
Pope.
version.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So you're in Pope's Grotto.
So I'm in Pope's Grotto. I'm in Pope's Grotto. I looks up,
You looked up.
and it was another great thing that he said, Pope, which I really like, is if you admit that you've been wrong about something, what you're actually saying is you are wiser today than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for a positive spin
On being
on
wrong.
that for a long time.
Yeah.
I've always found it strange when people don't happily admit to being wrong because of that. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm on the same page as
I find people who say that never admit to being wrong, in my experience. But I mean, you could be the exception.
Maybe.
You could be
It's
that.
a great
Probably
get out
not.
of jail free card, I
Probably not.
find.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Over, done.
The house, the villa that he built was on the river.
He's got villas now.
It was on, well, the villa's gone.
There's a lot of money in being a poet back then, wasn't there? Compared to now.
He did his own subscriptions, you see. He was
right.
crafty.
Was he celebrity poet then? So he was
Yeah,
It wasn't
like
a
Twitter
Van Gogh
followers back then.
situation.
He was celebrity, but he was a Catholic, which at the time held people back a bit. So that's why he lived out of town, I think.
Oh, okay.
There was a time, I think when his family had to live further out because they put a restriction on how close Catholics could live to central London.
Oh, okay.
Because at that time they could be naughty. Right?
Who said that to you?
No,
Someone said bit naughty,
we were asking
Frank.
about worst away fans.
Yeah.
And he was saying, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. But then he said that, I don't know about away, he said, but West Ham at home are naughty.
Oh, the great quotes.
Yeah, but we used to do that. My dad was forever claiming people for the Catholic Church. So I remember him saying to me, Elvis, he's a good Catholic. I said, I think he was like good Catholic Elvis. And Bobby Charlton, I remember he claimed. And
really?
his greatest achievement, I always thought, his longest shot ever. My dad honestly claimed that Muhammad Ali was Catholic.
Yeah.
I said, but that's the whole thing with him, isn't it? He said, oh, no, I'm on about he was brought up a Catholic. Again, completely untrue.
And then he threw salt in your face. Didn't argue with him then. Hey, Frank, we've had a message in from someone who says, I went to St Catherine's School for 14 years in Twickenham on the site of the grotto.
Oh, yeah.
I regularly spent
Convent
time...
school, I think.
I think she might know the name of her school, in fairness.
Yeah. No, I think I say it is a convent
Oh,
school.
I
No, I'm not-
thought you were saying it was called something else.
Okay.
And regularly
Yeah,
spent...
isn't it called Paris?
I thought you were correcting her.
No, I wouldn't correct. I think she knows her own.
Sorry, okay, so she's a convent girl. We've established that, but, Regularly spent time moving from prep to senior school through the grotto to avoid the main road.
Oh, that's
We used
good.
to run through as kids and turn all the lights off on others coming through behind us, leaving them in pitch black darkness.
Grotto fun. Hey.
It's from Elsie.
Oh, God, I'm just thinking, is there any way I could get myself a grotto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, remember, he was pre-nuclear weapons. I mean, it didn't have that big plus.
Head of the game.
Apparently very cool in the hot weather. What would you have given for a grotto the last couple of months?
Yeah.
8, 12, 15? Anyway, it was great. I got showed around and told lots of stuff.
Did you get the VIP treatment?
No, because I tell you what it is. I did a bit. I did it slightly.
Frank, I like your PA ringing. Hello, I'm looking for a celebrity contact for Alexander Pope's
that's
grotto,
it.
please.
Well, the thing is, they don't open it. It's not open every day by any means.
Oh, isn't it?
Because you have to go through the school to get to it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it might.
Oh, is it one of these architecture open week things, or is it?
Well, I think I don't know when it opens,
Right.
but it's not regular. You have to check. So there was just me and an American academic looking in there.
Did you go for lunch together?
No, we chatted a bit about 18th century interiors.
Nice.
I must admit, I was on the back foot somewhat with the architecture stuff. But she's writing a book about it.
Oh.
It was in a chapter on PSG.
PSG.
Oh, he loved a big mastiff as
Did he?
well. He did, yeah. There was a. There was.
You've got a bit of a mentionitis with Alexander Pope. Is it
tell you
your
what,
new sort of bromance?
I'll tell you what I love about him. He had
God.
he had a big mastiff called
God.
Bounce,
God.
right? And so that one died, so he got another one and called that Bounce. And I like people who recognise the interchangeability of a dog species. Like, you know, people who clone their dogs. You think, just get another one like that. What are you paying that kind of money for? Just get another.
Just get
dachshund.
2.0, yeah.
Same, it's the same.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have at least 4 Raymonds, I imagine, in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Where it
So
goes.
he just, he'd just be on the. Well, he wouldn't be on the phone, but he'd just say to his PA, Pope, bounce 7 as he's gone down.
He's
Bounce 7, man down, mastiff down. Get us another
7
one.
has thrown a 7.
Yeah,
in fact.
go and get us 8, will you?
When my dog, who's
Love it.
called Lucky, leaves this earth, should I just get another dog and call it Luckier? Because it's still alive.
I like that
one.
idea.
Well,
Yeah.
wait and see.
Luckier.
You might want to call it less lucky.
Maybe. You're right.
Yeah.
God.
There was a book for sale there called Mastiffs and Minerals.
All right.
Just saying. I think you can get it through the post if anyone's.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We're talking Pope's Grotto this morning on Absolute Radio.
Mainly Alexander Pope's underground hideaway. Do you think he called it a man cave at the time?
I don't.
I hope he didn't.
People say that.
It really put me off him if he did.
It would put me off too.
Do you think he had music down there from a grotto blaster?
Oh, come on. Come on.
Life ain't so easy when you're a grotto child. So, enough.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, though,
Yeah.
because it's on the river, it's a beautiful part of the Thames where he is there in Twickenham, and
Well,
it says his
where
friends.
he is, I mean...
Well, sorry, where he was.
In the 18th century. Was
Yeah.
it 18th century?
Yeah, he died 1744.
Oh,
Anyway,
bit of a stalker.
so a bit light on the stalking
There's
front.
nothing you don't know about this man.
Yeah, yeah.
So his friends used to come by boat to visit him. So he'd stand down on the jetty,
Oh,
and I thought,
on the jetty.
you know what? And if you look along the river there, they've still got like boats, but like small boats, like car-sized boats, and that's what they must do around there.
Yeah.
Right.
Just drive round. I went out with a California girl. You remember her, Em?
Oh, yeah.
And she was she'd been a surf gymnast in her youth, which I didn't know what that meant. But what it meant was that she was in a bikini, and surfing men would hold her above their shoulders for sort of
Yeah.
All right.
because it looked good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was saying that she she had a friend who'd got a motorboat, or a dad had got a motorboat, and the two of them, or the 3 or 4 of girls in bikinis, just went tootling around this thing in California, and they saw John Wayne on his jetty. I mean, come on.
I mean, that really is like a dream, isn't
And
it?
they said, like, no toupee, just out there enjoying himself. And she said, they all went, Mr. Wayne, and he just looked up and went, hi, girls. I just thought, oh, man. John Wayne.
I was excited enough because Jim Davidson had tweeted us this morning.
Yeah,
It's
now
knocked me into a cocked hat.
Now we've got a John Wayne anecdote. I think maybe the first John Wayne anecdote of the weekend for a lot of
Of
people.
the century.
Well, at least I've moved into the 20th. I'm getting closer.
But we were in 1744 a minute ago.
Yeah, give us a ramp.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean, and Alan Cochrane has returned. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I was just showing the guys. I'm not going to talk about Pope's Grotto all morning, but they tweeted a picture of me, the Pope's Grotto Twitter feed.
The Pope's Grotto crew.
In an enormous clash of old and new,
Yeah.
Pope's Grotto has a Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Hashtag PG.
That's a picture of me, and you can see I've got a Pope's Grotto laminate on.
I mean, he
Nice.
looks ridiculous.
You think?
great.
Well, I mean, he looks lovely. He looks very stylish, but equally,
Better.
it's very I'm with the band. I mean, it's like AAA access. But what degrees of access are there to
It's-
Pope's
yeah.
Grotto?
It's access all alcoves. Oh, man. But we did have one brilliant thing, a Pope's Grotto themed communication.
We did, and this is from 329, who says, hi all, I've just booked to go to the grotto. My son
Fabulous.
says Frank could sell me anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, my work here is done.
You are one of those media influencers, aren't you?
What do they call opinion formers?
Yeah, tastemaker.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if
You are.
I don't know if the grotto's going to hit that kind of
Well,
height. Is it
first-
going to be on Caitlin Moran's risers in the Times this week?
First, you did it about what was it, Fortnum and Mason Piccadilly, and then it sold out, didn't it?
Yeah. Well,
He takes things viral.
And now
yeah.
this.
And then of course, the reverse when I talked about somewhere I thought was closed.
Oh, no, I did that with Clinton's cards.
Oh yeah,
Oh, dear.
And
And
then it
then it
went-
did close.
Yeah.
we had the BHS.
Well, with
Yeah.
great power comes great
Oh
responsibility.
yes, you're quite right.
Can we just also share from Daniel Skipsey, you were talking about Superman 3, I believe, earlier. And
Yes.
Richard Pryor, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched some of Superman 3 being filmed on location in Canada. When Richard Pryor's character, or rather his stuntman, landed in the street after skiing off the top of a skyscraper, I was there.
Oh,
I was about
I
7 years old
remember
at
that.
the time.
Yeah.
I will never forget it.
And that was one of Bozzy's biggest laughs, I think, because he
incredible.
skied down a sort of a glass, sort of gazebo-like roof.
Kids like falling, don't they?
Oh, they do.
Well, that's great, Daniel. I mean, it's no Pope's Grotto.
No,
But it'll do.
No. Is that going to become a saying?
Yeah.
Oh, marvellous.
So we got Al back
I'm back.
from his travels.
I'm back.
How
Yeah.
was it, Al?
It was good. I've been to the Edinburgh Fringe. I don't like to blow my own trumpet and talk about like sales and stuff like that.
I find it hurts my back for a bit.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those, you know. I hate to say this, but I'm all about just like I'm more interested in the show than the PR. You know, when you meet some comics and they love the press bit, they love talking about themselves, and I'm not
You're
one of
looking at
those.
me like that.
No, I'm just talking about.
Okay.
Well, this is a bit
Well,
awkward.
basically, a thing happened where I don't really engage with that side of it because I don't love doing. I might stop doing interviews. You know
Oh,
these.
man.
Oh, don't stop doing interviews.
I might.
Well, don't say that to
'cause,
old interview
like,
Ian over there.
On the last tour I did.
That's like Gary Cahill retiring from international football. You've got to-
Maybe it is a bit like that. But you know, some people. But I've reluctantly got to admit that I should perhaps engage with the PR a little bit more than I do, because the ticket sales were good, and then towards the end of the Fringe, a person who works in the comedy industry, who books for the Comedy Store, sent me a text message saying, I don't suppose you can do Manchester for us on Sunday night? And I said, no, I'm at the Edinburgh Fringe. And he said, I should have known that, shouldn't I? And I thought, yeah, my PR message hasn't even got to the edge of my contacts list of my own phone. That's not good enough, is it?
Yeah, the low profile thing. But if people are turning up, who cares?
They were,
Oh,
and
exactly.
it was good fun. And I had various nice things happen during the gig, and I've got a bit of a confession to make. But now I feel like it's perhaps not the time, because Daisy's just flashed me the 30 seconds sign saying, but it's.
That's okay. Well,
I've
hold
got-
it.
Yeah,
I'm all
hold
for
on to it, Al.
I'm all
got-
for a Fringe cliffhanger.
Yeah, I think it's a bad confession. I think I've got a bad
Frank,
confession
you know,
from
Frank
the Edinburgh
loves
Festival.
the confession.
Oh,
Loves it. I mean,
Hi,
we won't
fire
banish
Fred.
you to Twickenham by law.
Am I going to give you your penance at
Maybe.
the end of
Oh,
it?
you're Jermaine.
Maybe.
I'll give him his Jermaine.
Is he still in the house, Jermaine Pennant?
Oh, no, I think he got into a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
Did he?
Yeah, I don't
He's
know.
not still tagged, is he, though? I think those days are gone.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
And we were on a cliffhanger. We were on an Edinburgh-based cliffhanger with the
Oh,
cockle.
yeah.
We're discussing my lack of PR. Fair play to the people that did see the show. They must have seen it as like orienteering or something to actually find the show. I think, I might have got this wrong, but I think Michael McIntyre in a previous incarnation, before he was the Michael McIntyre we know, I think he once went up to Edinburgh with just his face on the poster. No name or date of show.
Really?
Yeah, I
Wow,
think
that's
so.
confident.
I may have misremembered that, but I'm pretty sure he was convinced to do that by a former management.
And did it work?
No, I think it was a terrible idea.
I remember a
he was
comic.
unknown at the time, so I think.
This is back in the 90s. I remember a comic calling his show Sold Out. And that apparently led to quite a lot of empty seats because people thought, oh.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
So
I
you've got to
wasn't,
be
I
careful.
wasn't that
Well, are you meant to?
self-destructive.
What is it now, though? They do the virals on social media. We needed to set up
Yeah, I'm
something
not-
going wrong, like you tripping or something going wrong.
Oh, what me? Yeah.
Or
right.
you're a bit just saying a sort of shock jock thing and
Oh, yeah, I
becoming
could do that.
a controversial character.
I could do that. Anyway, let's do
Too
the.
late. Anyway, you did all right.
Here's
Yeah.
what happened.
Go on.
I'm going to tell you what happened, because you know you rent a flat and then it's like you live in it for a month. Here's what happened. About 10 days into being in the flat that I'd rented, which was nice, my wife and children were coming up, and so I did a little bit of tidying, and I thought, I'll just change the sheets on the bed in the flat. And then
10 days in.
10 days in, yeah.
Little insight there.
Yeah, innit?
Yeah.
Because my wife's coming. And then I couldn't find sheets that fitted my bed. There were spare sheets for the kids' beds, but they hadn't been used. And so I just left the sheets that had been used for 10 days. My wife
the bed?
visited, and I said,
Absolutely disgusting
I couldn't
animal.
find clean bedding for the... And then she stayed for 10 days, and I thought, well, there's only 5 more.
Don't say you kept the
Wow.
same sheets for 20 days.
20 a month. That's my confession.
Absolute
is
sicko.
that- But why would you start washing them and drying them after 20 days? You wouldn't think that.
I must admit,
who
when I
wants
lived
clean
in a,
sheets
when
for
I lived
5
in a
more
bed
nights?
sheet, I don't know. I don't remember ever washing them.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I did a month in the same bedding, and then I drove home and got into clean sheets
Oh,
at
it's
home.
extraordinary.
I think
think
if
that's
you
gross.
wear pyjamas, you didn't change the sheets ever because you're not actually in contact with
Okay,
them.
well, that tells me a lot.
I sleep in boxer
About
shorts
your
and a t-shirt
hygiene.
before anyone texts asking.
Boxer shorts and a t-shirt. Well, you got the
Kinda
skin
fine, isn't it?
cells from your legs.
You're meant
Yeah.
to be. You're meant to change your sheets.
Meant to?
Absolute
What is
minimum.
this? Debrets?
Hold your high horses. You're meant to change your sheets minimum every 2 weeks.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they agree on. The people in the lab coats that write articles at the Daily Mail.
Breath.
I
Did I tell you I had a singing?
have to speak to my
I had a
wife.
singing lesson with a woman called Tona Debret,
Did you?
which is the best ever name for a singing teacher.
Very
I am familiar with her work. She was in a film called The Great Rock and Roll Swindle.
Well, she
Really?
taught a big
Sex
claim to
Pistols?
fame was she taught Johnny Rotten how to sing.
Yeah.
But I went for a singing lesson with her, And they said, Tona's lovely, but she's the biggest name dropper you'll ever meet in your life. And I said, believe me, I've met some biggies. So, she's got some way to go. So I turned up and I knocked on the door, and she couldn't quite get the door open, and then she finally got it open. She said, I'm terribly sorry, this door's never been the same since Benny Hill used it for a sketch. I was still on the step, I hadn't got in yet. Marvellous.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a text message from David 496, who I think bolsters my story a little.
Go on.
He says, when I was at college, we were given one clean sheet a fortnight, and we were expected to move the top one to the bottom and put the clean one on top, so each one lasted a month before duvets.
Okay.
I mean, I would have done that if I could have found another.
I would have thought there is an argument if you're the hygienic type. What about if you just turn...
I like the concept of there being a hygienic
scorn
type.
out of your voice for the hygienic
you,
type.
you know what I mean?
That lot.
Yeah.
Picky.
The hygienic type. PC Brigade.
If you, why can't you just take the fitted sheet on the thing and just reverse it?
Oh, yeah?
That makes
Because it smells, dear.
I think it'll
Okay.
smell. That smell will be locked in by elastication.
Oh, lovely.
So
I did
Like
wash
a pop
meat.
sock.
Can I just make
Reverse
it clear? I
pop sock.
washed meat all through the month. It wasn't just...
Oh no, we never thought.
don't want to know
thought
about
for a
that.
second.
I did. I don't want you to be judging me too much. All
Yeah.
right, the bedding was grubby, but I was
I like the
clean
idea
as a
of
whistle.
the smell trapped in the elastication. When you open it, it'd be like those dry roasted peanuts. It'd be like when you take the fitted sheet off. I think
the idea of a
people make an enormous fuss about all that stuff.
Agreed.
What, basic human cleanliness?
But in the
Yeah, they
night, how
say stuff is
dirty
different.
does one get in the night?
In the middle of the night.
8, 12, 15.
Yeah, keep it daytime.
Yes, exactly. Keep it morning.
How dirty does one get in the middle of the night? Okay, I'm not going to answer that question. So, Frank, I know you love an astronaut.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I think you love an astronaut almost as much as you love a bit of Alexander Pope.
Well, let's not go over the top.
Okay. But did you see this news this week, actually it was, about the International Space Station, about the leak they sprung?
There was actually news this morning about an American, obviously an astronaut, who did the orbit of the moon, not on a landing, and he said he looked down at the moon and thought, I don't really fancy it much anyway. Glad I'm not landing.
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, that does sound a bit like. Well, I didn't want to. Didn't want to get to the World Cup anyway.
Is it basically like those T-shirts saying "I didn't fancy him anyway"? I believe there is one you can
Is
buy.
there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, do you like that? So they sprung a leak, which I thought, Al, sounded a bit plotline in some mothers to have them.
What a leak in
And
in
there's
the
only one-
International Space Station.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one person, I think, who could perhaps
Oh, do you
reconstruct
think
how
he
that
said?
might have been
do you
said
think he
on
might
the
have
show.
said, "Houston, we're in a bit of trouble"? Do you think he might have said that? Or, we've got a problem. I don't think I'm the only person that can do a Frank Spencer impression, by the way.
No, they used to be thick
You're
on
my
the
favourite.
thick on the
Pretty
ground.
good evidence I'm not.
But there's not many left now.
No.
Because we did have a bit of David Bellamy the other week. That was
that was
Oh,
good,
I only
wasn't
missed it, yeah.
that was
Yeah.
special.
it? Yeah. Okay. But he plugged
Oh,
it with his
yes.
finger, didn't he? He stuck his finger in the hole of a spaceship.
Do you mean Alexander Grest,
Yeah.
German astronaut?
Yeah, German
Stuck his
astronaut.
finger in.
2mm.
There's a very funny photograph in a tabloid where it looks like he's pointing. He's sort of got said finger out like a gun, as if he's going, "It was this one, everyone." It's one of my
It was-
favourite
But
literal
something they
photographs.
said, which hadn't occurred to me when I first read the story, is he might be the only person who's touched actual space.
Oh wow!
Because his finger must have been against space if it was blocking the leak. Whereas normally, obviously, if you're in
yeah.
space, you're in a suit.
You're always protected from space.
So he was actually touching it.
Wow.
So what about... Well, we should explain what happened in case anyone didn't see. So it was a meteorite, wasn't it? That
Meteorite at
struck
the
the space station.
International Space Station,
I know, but I feel...
as opposed to the club space station.
Although that's the thing, whenever I hear
Local.
International Space Station, then I see a picture and it looks like one of those Star Wars toys. And I think I was expecting like a bar and,
It's kind of
departure boards, people in maybe
Loads of
Lurex
luggage.
bodysuits.
Well, do you remember when I went to see Polyakov at the BFI?
Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
do we ever?
Polyakov was this a cosmonaut.
Cars.
I read this chapter in my diary all the time.
Yeah, well,
We're so sneery of the culture, aren't we? Oh, Alexander Pope, Polyakov.
let me remind you that Polyakov I don't know if he still got the record. At the time, he had the record for the most time spent in space.
Oh, yeah.
He was the bloke who went up on a Russian mission.
Stephen Polyakov, the playwright.
No,
Okay.
Was it
I
Alexander?
think he's called Valerie.
Valerie?
Valerie.
Oh no.
Oh, why don't you come on over?
Didn't yeah? I think Amy Winehouse did a big tribute to his mission. Oh, that would be. I wish they'd played that when he'd come on. Oh, Valerie! Oh, I don't. What is this?
Why don't you come on over?
He was very like that. They
Valerie?
showed a clip of them on the space station, and he said, "It looks like we are just having fun. We do a lot of hard work." So he was quite stern. Remember, I told you he had the most enormous chinos I'd ever seen.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
back.
Oh,
Billowing.
yes. How could I forget
Billowing
Polyakov's chinos?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it in great detail.
But I
Yeah, we
think they
did.
were a
I
bit.
remember him now.
I just think that he was very. Because they said that recently on the International Space Station they tried to play tennis. You know, when they have that things at the
yeah.
moment. And that's what he was moaning about. 'Cause he said, you don't do that. Because if you do one of those things, that's all people show. And they don't show you doing scientific experiments.
Yeah.
Because it's not such a crowd pleaser. He made a fair point, I think,
Yeah.
Polyakov. And I'm happy,
Polyakov apologist.
I'm happy to be quoting him now. Yeah. Polyakov. No, I can't do it.
Okay.
A polyakophilist.
That'll do.
No.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
One detail I liked in this story about the International Space Station leak was that NASA apparently decided to wait until they'd woken up to tell them about the
Yeah,
leak.
that
And I
one.
thought, what? Oh, let's not spoil their morning. Let them have a lie-in.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like telling you your team has lost last night. It's a
I didn't
potential
even wait
disaster.
until the next day to tell my wife that I'd heard Michael Jackson had died on the radio.
Did you?
I got in and she said, night, and I said, oh, Michael Jackson's dead.
yeah.
I just went straight to it.
Yeah.
When John Lennon was shot, I got up the next morning and my mum had left a note and it said John Lennon shot outside his New York flat, and then she'd written dead and underlined it about 10 times. I mean, it was the worst
Oh, wow.
possible to find out. In fact, I took the day off and got very, very drunk instead.
That seems appropriate.
And I saw a very strange man who I used to see occasionally. It was a bit scary, but we had a dialogue, and he said to me,
Sounds a bit strange.
said, I didn't expect to see you drinking on lunchtime, Tuesday, or whatever day it was. And I said, yeah, one of my heroes died. He said, do you know he was one of the 5th best fencers in Europe?
John Lennon.
Was he? And he was talking about Sir Oswald Mosley, the British fascist who died just shortly before.
Oh, really?
Slightly worried that he assumed that was one of my heroes.
Yeah, that would set off a
There's only
few
one
alarm
fellow we're
bells.
mourning today.
That he didn't make the leap to John Lennon.
No,
but
I don't know if he'd heard about it. He probably wasn't a man who had radios and things. But
Yeah.
like I'm going to go out and get drunk because Oswald Mosley has died. Wow, different times.
Good fact though about him being
One of the 5th best fencers
Yeah.
in Europe. He had to be, I should think. The bodyguard got a day off. Oh
You
man,
had to be on high alert, constant code red.
yeah, exactly.
So-
he was ever drawn. Yeah,
So in the end,
but that fits in, doesn't it? That
What's
fits
that?
in with Polyakov saying, "It looks like we're having fun."
Yeah.
The NASA saying, "Just let them sleep." We tell them the pressure is actually dropping, but we'll let them sleep.
Yeah.
It's that super calmness.
Oh, yeah,
I also,
that's why
if
they're
you remember, I saw Ellen Sharman interviewed. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
yes, yeah.
The British.
I do.
And someone asked her if it was like a spiritual experience the first time she saw Earth from space, and she said, sort of people who have spiritual experiences aren't very helpful on a space flight. So it's all about.
Hear ye. That
Your
is
kind of
good.
gal.
That is
It's
quality.
all about being calm to the point of,
Yes, you need the sort of.
Brilliant.
I call it the head of an anaesthetist.
This
I
is
don't
the
imagine
problem
they're
with
great
when they come
company.
back. This is why when they come back, they're often not great speakers because they're not. They've done interesting things,
yeah.
but by not being interested.
Don't kill off Polyakov's corporates.
No,
Frank
but-
will go
sorry.
mad.
being. No, I think being dull is a real plus in space.
Oh yeah.
In life, sometimes.
Well, I don't know
Hear
about that.
ye. Thank you. Thank you
makes
very
life
much.
easier.
Thank you.
I just know that when they said the pressure is dropping in the internet, that nobody there would have sung Queen and David Bowie's Under Pressure. Because, they just would. They're not those kind of people.
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. And I sung it whilst reading the story. Did you not? As soon as it said.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to do it. I like the idea if they had done that the first David Bowie vocal to be on the International Space Station wasn't Space Oddity or even Starman.
Yes.
Although I can't imagine the Russians in the background going, hey, no.
They used a toothpick in the end, Frank. Well, first he put his
right.
finger in it. Then they used gaffer tape.
Yeah,
And
they had a
then they
gaffer
went
tape that
and-
was called something else. That
It was
made
like
me think.
Krypton
Oh.
tape or something.
Yeah, it made me
Yeah.
think, I'd like to get some of that. It sounds like super space tape.
Oh, I don't want you getting
get
funny
it.
tape.
Probably get it on the internet.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, that Kath won't think that's weird when that turns up in the post.
We had one of those innovations. Was it the most
Oh,
I've
yeah,
ever
good.
seen Kath laugh? We had an innovations catalogue, and I sat in bed reading it to her, and they had a Cruit set,
Oh yeah.
salt and pepper, and it said. Never goes damp and never leaks, and it developed through NASA technology. A Cruit set.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So we've had a correzione, Frank.
Hold on. We got one here somewhere.
Yeah.
It's all moved. Everything's moved.
It's from one of our regulars.
Correzione, ole, ole.
It's from Clive Silas, one of our regulars.
Ah, yes.
A very decent chap. He says, despite the correzione, which is aimed at moi,
Oh.
the International Space Station was punctured by a meteor. Meteorite, which is what I said, erroneously it turns out, who knew, is what it's called when it's been found on Earth
Yeah,
after
when
it has
it's-
landed.
when it's
Hashtag
landed.
pedants corner. No, not pedant,
No,
Clive.
good point.
I
Totally
appreciate
fine with it.
that. And
Very good point.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I didn't actually know that. I'm not
I
ashamed.
think there might be a bit of meteorite in Pope's Grotto.
Oh, Frank, you've got to stop going on about Pope's Grotto. I mean, it's
No,
all you
don't.
talk about now.
Don't stop going on about it.
What's Kath going to say?
Don't tell Kath.
Ian Botham's autobiography.
Exactly.
Love, great mention.
Exactly.
Frank
Skinner,
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Who I mentioned in that Space Oddity there was Colonel Tom. Was that his Major Tom, rather?
Yeah.
What, as in ground control?
Actually,
Major
Colonel
Tom?
Tom's a good point. Colonel Tom was Elvis's
Colonel Tom Parker.
manager, and he was called Colonel Tom. Though.
Ground control to Colonel Tom. What's happened to the money? You've stolen it all.
It's Major Tom. Is Tom his surname or first name?
Oh.
Do you know, I think that's a real question for our readers.
Yeah, me
Someone's
too.
going to know the
Major
answer. I
Tom.
love that question.
I mean, would you call someone? I say if you'd say Colonel Tom, maybe you'd say Major Tom was the first name. I mean, look at Private Benjamin.
Yeah. If there's
Yeah.
any
I
astronauts.
think that's the surname, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was
think it must be.
Goldie, wasn't it?
No, that was the actress
Goldie
name.
Hawn.
Goldie
You
Hawn.
can't separate the actor from the character.
No,
No,
I'm
you
saying.
Yeah. Private
Gold-
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Played by Goldie Hawn. How
Yeah.
do we get to Private? Oh, yeah.
So if
so
anyone's...
we don't know. Yeah, I'd like if there's any. There'll be aficionados out there.
Or astronauts. Imagine we got a text from the ISS.
Yeah.
Imagine one of these...
They're up there now. That's the weird
Alexander
thing, isn't
got
it?
a gas-
They're
That is the
actually
weird
up
thing.
there now, floating about.
Yeah.
3 Americans, 2 Russians and a German.
Walked into a bar.
Everybody's talking about pop music.
This is what I love about working with two comics. I knew you wouldn't be able to resist
You just
finishing that
chuck it
off
up
in
there.
some way. Yeah.
I got to say, and I don't like to racially stereotype, but if there's a hole in the wall,
Tense.
I'm just making that clear.
Go on then.
If I'd said I do like it, then we'd have been tense.
Yeah.
I think I'd go for a German if somebody said to me there's a hole in the International Space Station with losing pressure, to just take it easy.
Yeah.
Because I think I would have been not helpful in that situation.
Well, it's in the absence of a Dutchman there. You'd have to.
That would have.
Is that a finger in the dam reference?
Yeah,
Do
but
you
it's
know,
an
I wonder
urban
what-
myth. It's not real.
You know, I read this story and I thought, oh, like the finger in the dam. And then I had a moment where I thought, have I made that up? The finger in the dam thing, is that a thing?
I did a gig at the Orangi Boom Boom.
Oh, yeah.
pub.
Stop name dropping.
And there was
do that.
two Dutch people in there, and at one point water started leaking through the ceiling. I said, "Can you stick your finger in there, mate?" He got a round of applause.
Classic.
And I don't think, if I
They
did
didn't
that
get it.
today, I don't think they'd get. No, they did get it then. But I'm talking about how people's knowledge of the world.
Well,
is
also, it
faltered.
wasn't a Dutch story. I think it was an American story. So a lot of Dutch people didn't even know what that was.
Was it? But
Now they've taken it on
so, but
as
it's set
their
in
own
Holland,
history.
obviously,
It's set in
there's a
Holland,
dam.
exactly. Oh, now they've got statues and all sorts.
Oh, have they?
Have
That's
they?
good.
Really?
I like the tourism aspect.
But I know your point. I think if I had been in the space station and there was a leak, I don't think it would have even occurred to me to stick my finger in there, or a toothpick, which is what
No,
they
I'd
did
have
in the
been
end.
too busy praying.
What would you have?
Yeah, I wouldn't have been praying, I don't think.
No, you wouldn't. Well, you might have been. If you're ever going to pray, that could be it.
That's the time.
Yeah, I'm not
I just
sure.
think it sounded a bit amateur hour, some of their solutions to this problem.
I like
Chewing
it.
gum would have been the thing, but
Oh,
I suppose,
that would be
I suppose
good.
the Americans had sold all that to the Russians.
Where's Alex Ferguson when you need him?
They still do. They used to say, if ever you go to Russia, take chewing gum and Levi's.
And
Make a
Coca-Cola.
fortune.
Coca-Cola.
Well, that sounds
What
good.
do you take now?
Sort of
if
thing-
you want to sell stuff on your East European holiday, what do you take now? 8, 12, 15.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 8, 12, 15. Go on, because that sort of enriches the experience for us, at least.
Yeah.
Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Those are your three forms of communication.
Yeah.
I was just admiring Emily Dean's footwear as you raised the faders on the
there'd been a
mics, and now
terrible-
she's madly paranoid that there's something wrong.
No, I thought there'd been I might have dropped something indiscreet.
I pointed
Why not
at them
there?
and
I don't
gave them
think
a thumbs up.
I
and
don't think
she,
I noticed.
Well, I've got a confessione to make.
Oh, right.
I love a confession.
Well,
Stolen.
I mean, don't get too excited.
She's in some stolen hotel flip-flops.
Well, no, I ran out of the house this morning in these, thinking, I'll take my proper shoes with me.
Never
do you
run
ever
in
do that?
flip-flops, by the way, kids.
They're not. They're an open-toed leopard print Moroccan sandal. But anyway, they're my house
Real
sandal.
leopard.
I ran out this morning in them, thinking, I'll change into my normal shoes, my nice shoes when I get there, and I've kept them on.
Good.
So anyway,
I've got some cheetah
like them.
slippers. I just find they're faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't, obviously. Don't
No.
start with a...
okay.
Okay.
So we're finding out a bit about. Do you remember we were talking about Major Tom? Was it his surname?
Oh, yeah. Does anyone know?
Well, 623 shed some light on it. Did you know the name Major Tom from Space Oddity was taken by Bowie from a poster in Brixton where he lived? The poster was advertising a local Amdram play with a local actor by the name of Tom Major.
Oh.
John Major's dad.
No.
Well, I don't. Listen, if this is true,
I don't think that can be right. I'll tell you for why.
Go on.
Because John Major's dad and his mum, I think,
Yeah.
were in a proper theatrical double act. They were professionals, and I don't think they'd have been in an Amdram production.
okay. Oh, that sound like my mother.
Okay. I'm sorry, dear, but
I'm sorry, dear.
Not there's anything wrong with Amdram. Don't start on that.
Say what you like about Frank
You
Skinner.
can't say what you like.
He knows a lot about John Major's parents.
Yes,
That's
I've spoken to John Major about it.
always
Is this one of his Alexander
Pope and John Major's parents. He's strong on those subjects.
Oh, he was born in a trunk, John Major.
Oh, he knows a lot about him as well.
Trunk.
Yeah. Some sort of elephant ectopic pregnancy mix-up.
Whatever happened to being born in strange places?
8, 12, 15.
I know someone who's born on a train in Russia.
Do
Oh,
you?
wow.
That's fairly...
Really?
That's fairly strange. If there's anyone listening who was born in a strange place, do let us know, because I think they're always exciting stories, aren't they?
I think so. We were also.
Well, we'll find out.
I'm interested in this use of the toothpick to save the space station, because my wife, when I read the story, I saw her, she was in the living room as I was looking at the story, and I said, "Oh, they use this toothpick," and she said, "Oh, it's like that time that I fixed a ball cock in the toilet downstairs, using a lolly stick and a lemon." So she taped it to the lolly stick.
Wow.
And made the toilet work again. And then
That's
the plumber got
great.
here and said, the plumber apparently said, "I've seen a lot of makeshift stuff, but never a lemon and a lolly stick. This is good." But didn't leave it there. I would have quite liked them to have just said, "You can use this for a bit if you want."
I'd bet £10 that you still ate the lemon.
If I did, I don't know it.
Okay.
It might have been an act of malice on behalf of the
You see,
family.
I wouldn't be capable of any of that. When I first moved into when I first lived on my own, I moved into actually, it wasn't the first time. The first time I lived on my own outside of academia, I moved into a bedsit in a place called Harborne in Birmingham, and the bed... going back to where we were before, I'd got no sheets or anything. It hadn't occurred to me that they just didn't come with the bed.
All right.
So you didn't have sheets?
First night, I just slept on a mattress. You could see the buttons on me the next morning. The print of
you
the
must
buttons.
have been cold. Did you put?
Didn't
What did you put
Cinderella
over
say
you?
that? So
Did you put like a tea towel or something, or a coat?
I think luckily it was quite warm when I moved in. But anyway, the other thing was. One of the legs had broken on the bed, so the whole bed dropped into one corner.
Right.
And so the only thing I had was a large tin of baked beans, which I put under that corner of the bed.
Brilliant
to
solve.
keep it upright. And you know what? It was there for about 3 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know what I love? It couldn't be any more bedsit cliche.
Yeah,
With the can of beans.
Exactly. And if ever there'd been a nuclear attack, I'd have been all right in that bedsit
I
for,
honestly thought you were going to
a
go
day.
for hardback books, but straight to the
No,
tin of
I
beans.
wouldn't.
Perfect.
It was. It worked great. It was just the right height. This was pre-ring pull.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I've told you about that injury.
Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
Al, you were mentioning there's some lots of life hacks, but it's a bit of make, do, and mend thing, similar to the ISS, the behaviour of the astronauts on the ISS. I'm no stranger.
Great context work, by the way.
I had to do it. I always like to sum
Brilliantly
up for new
professional.
readers. I am no stranger to the business card slid in between the recesses of my laptop.
That was.
We okay?
I really didn't know what that was.
You okay?
Right to the penultimate word.
I know. So the reason being
I've
that it
never
removes the grime.
Oh, you
I have
using it
never
as a sort
seen
of
that.
I'm going to show
What's
you
that
later,
about?
Frank.
What's it about?
What's it about is sometimes your spacebar gets a bit sticky.
Is it almost
Some
like
of the
flossing
keys.
for the keys?
You've got it in one now.
Oh, I get you.
And what do? You just slide it around the edges?
Slide the business card throughout the surrounding area of the keys,
Wow.
and it.
Hush my mouth.
Like people do with a toothpick, as you'd say.
Do they?
Like, you just go in between the...
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
you've
go
got
in
it.
between the keys and all that.
Yeah, it works an absolute treat because you clean that laptop, but hidden dirt lies under the surface. I mean, we've already established this morning that's something that doesn't seem to trouble either of you too much.
Yeah.
Do give it a go.
I've been making a mistake. I've been just leaving them to soak overnight. No, that's not me. Did I tell you about that swimming pool I went to? I can't remember if I told you about it.
Where was it? At Elton John's
I was at
house?
Soho House, which is where the old BBC building used to be.
Oh, right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. It's on the
White
10th
City
floor.
or something. Yeah.
There's a swimming pool. This was like a Monday lunchtime, and I went up there, and it was absolutely crammed with people in bikinis and tiny little, blokes in speedos. All these beautiful people, but you couldn't have put a £0.50 piece down on the ground.
Yeah.
And it was up with beautiful people. And I thought, I'd love to just get out into my pants there and sit here and spoil it.
Yeah.
Like a horrible Where's Wally thing. But they were all on laptops, and I thought,
not in their swimwear.
yeah, in their swimwear.
Shut up.
Oh, that
So-
sounds...
I can't go on a laptop in my swimwear.
And there were people lying down
either.
with the laptop on their belly,
Not on the.
working. And I thought, they are going to get the worst tan line
Yeah.
ever. They're going to look like Teletubbies. They're going to get that like screen in the belly.
And also, if they've bought a cheap laptop, they might well get a battery burn on the tum-tum.
They hadn't bought a cheap laptop,
Oh,
these
really?
people.
Was it all the rage?
No, it was all the MacBooks.
They've got rich older people to buy them laptops.
It was.
Can I just say,
That's
Frank,
why I went. There was no vacancies.
Frank, I don't like bikinis and, near a laptop. I think it's, keep the
have
two
that.
worlds separate.
Yeah.
Well, it was a very
Okay.
hot day, but Monday lunchtime. I mean, those of you who work in, factories and stuff, just think of what's happening in other parts of the world. It's incredible. I'd love to have took a photo, but obviously that could have been tricky.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Well, I'm very excited because we've had a communique from the Pope's Grotto Trust, Frank.
Oh, thank goodness.
When Pope's Grotto Trust gets mentioned on Absolute Radio, we've really arrived. Thank you at Frank on the Radio. That's from Pope's Grotto Trust.
Everyone will be talking about it now. There'll be Capital will be
yeah.
doing it and all those.
There's
ones.
Pope's Grotto Week.
They're always playing catch up.
Yeah.
To balance it out, 729 has texted, "Are you discussing the Pope's Grotto in Twickenham? My husband and I were the managers there
Not
for a
the
short time."
not the Pope's Grotto.
No.
A different place.
They
Managers at the grotto. Oh, is that the pub? Do you mean?
were the...
No, maybe they just manage the actual grotto.
I think they managed the...
I think there was a pub called Pope's Grotto, which might
Oh, really?
now just be called the Alexander Pope.
It's unlike you to
Well, I
know
don't-
so much information about Pope's Grotto
I don't know if it'll
and the
help.
surrounding area.
I don't know if this helps, Frank, but the T before Pope is not capitalised, so it's, "Are you discussing the Pope's Grotto
Oh, I see.
in Twickenham?" I don't think it is a pub. I think it's Pope's Grotto.
I don't want to fall out over Alexander
husband-
Pope.
I don't think it had there's a manager, though.
Well, they say my husband and I were managers there for a short time in 1981. Still have the occasional nightmare about the place. That's from Eileen Page.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Eileen.
Hey! Trey Bond.
Never heard that before in your life.
I'll bet.
I won't have that said about the grotto.
Watch out with Eileen Page, she can turn.
Oh.
Oh. Anyway, that's. I bet they managed the pub that was called Pope's Grotto. That's my,
Well, Eileen, if you're listening and you can clear this up, that would
she
be
must
really
be
helpful.
listening. What is she, a
I mean,
psychic?
still listening.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might have thought, I sent that message.
It's very bad reception, I
they
imagine.
She
in-
might
I
be a
discussed
psychic.
it immediately. I'm out of here.
I mean, let's face it, she wouldn't be the first Eileen to be a psychic, would she, boys?
No, that's true. I don't know what the network coverage is like in the grotto. Oh, she's not
The
there anymore.
grotto. I like the idea of them
And a
having.
young boy died.
I like the idea of them having managers though, and sort of AGMs and meetings. And
Yeah.
You're
must
late.
have
The
to
start
look
time at the
after it.
grotto is 9 a.m. To do
Well, the-
what?
The trust is a real thing.
It's a real
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
It
Maybe Pope's Grotto Trust could tell us if they've ever employed managers. I mean, they know what they're up to,
I
these
just don't
people.
think there's management down
You
there.
also asked if people were born in strange places.
I
And
did.
814 has texted
You
my
know what
son.
the perfect answer's going to be here, don't you?
Yeah, 814. My son was born in the Pope's Grotto.
No.
I made that up.
Oh,
It's not
only.
going to be as good as that. Everyone just
No.
manage your expectations now.
Hang on,
It's-
I'm just doing it.
My son Otis was born in Asda car park last year, so people are still born in strange places.
Wow, I hope he was born in a child-parent slot. But they were just going to get clamped for being in the child-parent. And he said, come on, see if you can force that. And just as they arrived, the baby was born and they saved it. Did I tell you what that happened to me in a supermarket?
Oh,
When
yeah.
we'd covered
birth?
we'd covered the windows because it was really sunny, and Buzz was in the back. He was a baby in
with
the baby
shades,
seat.
yeah.
And this guy came up and said, "Excuse me, you're not supposed to park here unless you've got a child." And I opened the door in a da-da. There he was. It was great.
Brilliant.
Busybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We should really do some animal news on the show more frequently, not just about my whippet, Lucky, and the next one, Luckier. There's been a story this week that a bear, this is not a joke, a bear turned up in a liquor store. It went in, in America.
Yeah, liquor store.
Oh, yeah, Connecticut,
Not like off license, like
No.
I've seen them called liquor stores here now.
have you?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a sort of East London trendy thing. I
Is
believe.
it?
Yeah.
It's all changing, isn't it? Do you
Oh,
remember
yeah.
20 years
yeah.
ago, like there was no UPS vans, and now you see UPS vans here, and you
Yeah.
see yellow school buses. It's all...
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I've seen yellow school
Oh.
buses in England.
Yeah, and they got
Like
the
there.
they got the
They're not-
Statue of Liberty now in Brentford.
Yeah. It's all different, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
people wear baseball caps here.
that's true.
Yeah.
Weird.
Bad hair day, I always think.
Yeah. Eat lots.
Just cover it. Eat lots.
Eat a bit more.
But yeah, the bear, I've seen a bit of VT, as they say in the biz. I've seen a bit of VT videotape. And the guy sees the bear sort of in between two, like, sliding doors. And
The automatic doors.
he gets a bit concerned that the bear is going to set off the door. And so he just reaches straight up and just locks it. Like there's a manual locking thing at the top.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very good presence of mind, because
Yeah,
I
it's
think I
quick.
would have just panicked.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was a black bear. It was was he on all fours?
Whoa.
I think he was.
He was on all fours. He wasn't in there to buy Hofmeister.
But the reason that type of bear, I believe, is not traditionally one of the most ferocious or
I
aggressive.
know, but you wouldn't
It's the
think
gr-
that. If you saw a bear
I'd
in a
be
shop,
fine with a black bear. It's the grizzly.
I
I'd be
personally
worried.
wouldn't be Googling it if there was a bear in a shop.
Yeah.
I'd
I'm
think.
just saying, of the bears, they're the ones that I'd want to hang out with most. They're fun.
No, have you not seen that film about that bloke and at the end he gets...
Grizzly Man.
Yeah,
Good film.
it's a bad ending.
Yeah, it is. But, you reap what you sow to a certain extent.
Well, that is, if life's going to give you lemons, that's what I always say.
I always say Paris Gump and leave it there. The store was called Crazy Bruce's.
Of course it was.
I mean, it's going to be
So
one of
American.
those places,
Yeah.
isn't it, where people are queuing at 7 o'clock in the morning for drink.
I don't
Yeah.
like the idea
Patron
of
holding
Crazy
a
Bruce
shotgun.
being in charge of the liquor.
I think I'd be willing to bet money that Crazy Bruce has some sort of shotgun on the premises.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that'd be handy for the bear.
No.
Yeah.
Listen.
I think you'd be that'd
be allowed?
that'd be a legit killing, wouldn't it? If you shot a bear in your shop.
Yeah.
Someone said they thought
Probably
it
not
was a man.
optimal.
Which
So it was a man.
I've got to say, yeah, but let's just be honest. Sometimes it might be reasonable in that part of the world.
Well, in that shop,
might
a
see-
man on all fours. It's not out of the
a large,
question.
heavy-set man on all fours. I think that's a reasonable mistake to make.
That's why none of the regulars said anything, because they thought they were the only ones who could see it. It would be. It would be.
What,
it would
like
be
a-
terrifying.
Sort of like a stag do figure, just dressed as a bear. Is that what you mean?
You could. I've seen some
Box
realistic
party.
costumes, but if you,
Someone said they thought it was a big dog
That made
as
me
well.
laugh.
Yeah.
that's someone who's drunk, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 What a crazy Bruce is.
Yeah, what a
Everything looks
massive.
like a big dog if you drink that much, doesn't it?
Yeah, the world looks like a big dog. Yeah, so Paddington, if you take Paddington 3, Paddington 2,
Oh, yeah,
rather.
take Paddington as an average bear.
Actually, they could have been
That's a good
filming.
idea.
They could have been filming Paddington 3. No, I think you'll find that Yogi Bear was smarter than the average bear.
That's true.
What about the Hair Bear Bunch?
Yes.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have got through the automatic doors, I think, with
Mr.
that.
Beasley would have seen to that.
Ooh.
Oh, Mr. Beasley.
No one will remember that, but it doesn't matter.
No, but it's for us.
What week? When did we ever
When did we care?
about that?
Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying.
You were saying about... I can't remember what you were saying now. I'm sorry.
What does it matter anyway? There could have been... No,
That's
but
the spirit.
Paddington
Paddington, that was it.
Yeah.
doesn't look like a real bear.
No, he's wearing a hat and a jacket.
No, apart from that,
No
though, even though
pants,
it's
huh?
fabulous animation, you wouldn't think...
It is, yeah.
As I said, I think when I saw Paddington 2, he would have been shot with a knockout dart if he'd been in central London like that. There would have been people waving and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I suppose they are allowed to have brewing on the premises.
To have what?
Brewing
Brewing.
on the premises.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know if
He's
I
done a
get
pun.
this. I don't know if I get this joke.
They're allowed to have brewing on the premises.
Brewing.
Brewing.
I don't get it.
Brew.
As Donald Trump would say, if I misjoked.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute.
We've also got some news just in from Eileen, 729, who used to be the manager of what was it called? Pope's Grotto. And she said yes, it was the pub
I knew it.
that is now some sort of hotel.
Yeah, but I think it's called the Alexander Pope now.
Do you know what I
Giving them a
like?
plug though.
Is that someone saying, yes, it was the pub, and Frank saying, I knew it. That's not the first time that exchange has occurred in your life.
No,
Just
exactly.
saying.
But I don't think the Grotto's is the place where you'd have a couple managing it.
True.
Is what I'm saying.
Well,
We don't
give it
know.
time, Frank, with
We'll
your
give
help.
it time. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We've got various loose ends that we can tidy up.
Let's tie up some loose ends.
As long as it's not loose women.
196 has
I hope
texted,
it's a bit warmer than that.
I may be slightly out of whack, but don't you sweat a few pints during the night? From Sally, clean but not shiny. I think that's about my bedding issues.
Sally, I think you might be bedwetting. I don't think anyone does pints of sweat in the night, do they?
Sally claims to be clean but not shiny. I think she might.
If she's texting from the tropics,
Yeah.
I think that's possible. But I don't know, I suppose in the recent hot snap.
Heatwave.
Yeah.
When the rain came,
Lorraine?
no, not the rain, the rain.
Yeah.
When the rain came recently, because my
Difficult house guest, isn't she?
Lorraine, yeah.
I hear she sweats.
Oh,
too.
she's a nightmare.
very
Never mind her
demanding.
again.
Very demanding. But she's gone back to Dundee now. So when the rain finally came, I hadn't. Our lawn was going yellow with the sun. It was so intensely hot. And there was a hose pipe ban. Well, at least that's what I told the whole family. I just, a bit me couldn't be bothered.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I imposed my own hose pipe ban. And when it rained, I'm not kidding, I stood by the window, I watched the rain hitting and I said out loud, "Drink up, old friend." I was really excited.
And then Adrian Charles happened to be sitting next to you.
Exactly. And he said, "Oh, I could do a documentary about that."
Fancy you being in it, Frank.
And thus a star is born. Which is, I think, the new Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Is it?
Yeah. It used to be Judy Garland, James Mason. Times changed.
Yeah, it's also
different.
Chris Christopherson, Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
Do you know Elvis was offered that and turned it down?
Shut up.
Oh, there you go. Because
Okay.
Colonel Tom
Oh, yeah.
said he didn't want Elvis portrayed as a fading star.
Oh, dear.
Well, that
That's a
worked
shame.
out.
They could have set it in the grotto.
Ooh. Then one night in desperation, Bounce escaped. A whole song about the life of Alexander. What's that coming over the hill? Is it a mastiff? Is it a mastiff?
I'd love it if that was your second
That's
number one. Was
Alexander-
a song about Alexander Pope.
Alexander Pope, the musical. I think it could work.
It's on. Come on.
Just going to get my notepad. Let's get scribbling. We can workshop this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening this morning. If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Be seeing you.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.